All right. Are you ready, Troy?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we go live? And you're going to start with that video, and then when it's
I'm gonna start with a countdown.
Countdown, they don't hear me. Video, they don't hear me. As soon as they see us, they hear us, right?
Yep.
You don't hear me during this shit, do you?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, and you don't hear me either.
All right. Thank you.
Are we good?
Go for it, man.
All right. See you on the other side.
Yeah, brother. Shit. I found my Ditanium, obviously got it all put together. Having fun already.
You do. I got mine out. So Jerry, I modified my Ditanium before today, so I apologize.
Of course you did.
I wanted to modify it more, but I wasn't able to get it taken apart any further. Right now it's filled with balls.
Oh, sweet. I want to see that.
Well, it honestly,
well,
it doesn't function a whole lot better than it did before.
Okay.
Honestly, but I'm told that if we take out the quartz dish, let me go full screen here. So on the top of the Ditanium here, let's do a quick tour of the Ditanium. The Ditanium has a titanium head and a quartz dish on top. So it's for dry herb and for dabs, even at the same time. The little nipple here, 18 millimeter male is what that is. And the whip, the handpiece here, has a 18 millimeter female. And I've also modified my handpiece a little bit. So normally the screen is right here where this little ridge thing is, right? So like that, there's a screen in there right now. Mine has two screens in it. So I put a shorter basket screen up here. And so there's a screen here and a screen up here. And the screen up on top actually goes pretty close to the actual nipple. So that screen is basically where the nipple goes in. So the nipple almost touches the basket screen that I have in mine. And then the inside of the head of mine is filled with little balls, little borosilicate balls. I don't know if you can see any of the balls in there or not, but
can't see the balls, but I believe. Oh yeah, okay. I sort of saw a little bit of cloudiness because.
And then there's a screen. I stuffed the screen inside here to make sure that the balls don't fall out this hole, because you don't want hot balls falling out of these vapes, Jerry.
Yeah,
I've had it happen, and it is not fun. Hot balls,
you're playing with hot stuff, man.
Hot balls falling out is not safe. Not safe. So what I wanted to do was actually take out that quartz dish, because if you take the head of your Ditanium apart, you can actually take out that quartz dish and replace it if you want to. What I wanted to do was take it out and actually fill that space with balls and hope that it performs better. I've been told by someone that it actually does. Like if you take out the quartz dish and pack it full of balls, it performs similar to the G43, is what I've been told, but I have not been able to replicate it. I tried earlier and I couldn't get mine apart. It felt like it was gonna break. Like I couldn't get the fucking thing to thread apart anymore. So I don't know if I can take it apart again or not.
How's it doing now?
I actually haven't vaped it. This mod was from months ago when I modified the balls, and it didn't perform anything close to the SSV43 or the Trip Torch.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just like, I meant to come back and take it apart and get my balls back, but I actually never did. So the balls are still in there.
Right on. Well, this is my bamboo unit. which I love, man. I love the bamboo a lot. I think it looks dope. And mine's got green mood light underneath there, man. That shit goes up and down with the temp, so you can tell a little bit how it's doing with that. Of course, you know the knob there. Knobs on these things are got one marker on them, and they go from like around. They turn off at 6 o'clock, and then I think you can pull this off and put it on any setting you want, and then it goes around to about 3:30 or 4 out of the box, I think. But I usually keep mine at around 12 to 1. And then I'll finish off around little 1:30, and this thing gets accordingly bright. But I like these because they have a good signature, man. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's got a punch to it that makes it. I mean, it doesn't matter when I use it. It feels like, wow, man, that's a solid hit. Like last year when I used when my Vaporizor broke. Remember, I was running around. In fact, I think we mentioned it during the show that time. I went and tried like 3 different vapes, 4 different big vapes, and they just didn't, nah. And I pulled this one out, and man, I've forgotten about it. And I pulled that one out, and the hit was whooping me, and that's what I used until I got my Vaporizor back. Strictly because it's just got a mean signature. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't understand those things sometimes. Like, it doesn't make any sense. All I know is this vape hits me hard. That's all I know. It's got that going for it. I usually don't use it with the dab because I like the hit with just the flower, but we're gonna do a little dab over flower tonight for sure. And I like to keep it between 12 and 2 on the double up dabs and flower. I call them stackers or double stackers or whatever you just call them. But probably about 1 o'clock is where I'll try it tonight and double up on that. There's just one little sweet spot that's real good. Outside of that, it's kind of iffy on the mix. The adjustments for the dab, in my opinion, the good dabs are between like 11 and 1. And then the best flowers from 12 to 3. And so for me, the overlap is kind of like from 12 to 1 when I want to nail them both.
That's exactly how I struggle with this device, is by the time I turn it up hot enough to make it function for flower, it's no longer functional for concentrates for me. Like if I want to do both at the same time, my flower is gonna suck. It's basically not gonna vaporize the flower. To run dabs in my Ditanium, I have to run at 12 o'clock or less. And then at 12 o'clock, my inhale speed for dabs is too fast to vaporize flower at that temperature. In order to vaporize flower at a dab inhalation speed, I have to turn my Ditanium up past 2 o'clock, which is way too fucking hot for this little quartz dish. And it just like your dab's gone. Like may not even get an inhale. Like it may just vaporize so fucking fast that it's like you didn't even get it. So for me, yeah, while it can do both, it really can't do both at the same time. In my opinion, I'd rather crank it up and put dabs in my weed with this device. Furthermore, and I don't want to fucking hate on it because I do think this vape is a good value, but as an Enail, I find that it's really difficult to do the basic cleaning. Like when you have a dab and you're done with your dab and you want to Q-tip it out, this thing shreds Q-tips. The little groove down in there where the dab really goes is let's see if I can show my shit here. It's not big enough for a Q-tip.
No.
So
it's not.
So like if you put a Q-tip in there, like it won't go.
Right.
And it's not going down in there. And now it burned. Now I put a black mark on my quartz because it's hot enough for dry herb right now, and it's so fucking hot that it instantly burned the Q-tip on the cotton.
You probably turn that all the way up and burn it off. Because it's designed to clean that way anyhow. So that's probably what you could do.
It is, and you can crank it up, and it'll get hot enough to burn pretty much everything off the quartz. But it's I don't want to do that in between dabs, and I find that even with low temp dabs, this device is more of a vaporizing concentrates type of niche, and not a dabbing device. And I know it's a really weird line to draw, but I find that I don't want to dab from it, and I kind of find it ridiculous that it doesn't come with this in the box. Like, this is an
Has to
accessory.
come with that. That doesn't come with a dab tool, stir tool. Doesn't come with that. There's some basic like what you see here is what you get: a whip and a thing. So, though I agree with you, it needs to have something else, because the carb cap, in my opinion's got to have it. Like, you can just add 20, 30 bucks to the price for the stuff that I think you have to have.
Yeah, like the fact that this was an accessory kind of makes me mad.
Well, you know, it was. I think the dabbing was kind of an accessory. You know, it was more made for flower.
But it has a quartz dish right on top.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but it's not even got the right size Q-tip, like you said. You know what I mean? So obviously, you know, it wasn't.
I feel like the dabbing of this design is more of like the heat up your titanium nail until it's red hot and then drop your dab real fucking quick and just whoosh, and it's gone and ta-da, that was a dab. I feel like this dab device is from 2009, when dabs were done like that. And I feel like dabbing has evolved, concentrates have evolved, cannabis connoisseur people have really evolved and developed their preferences, and I feel like this type of dab is serving a preference that is left behind by many. There's still people that prefer it, but I feel like a lot of people don't like their dabs like this anymore.
No, this thing's been around not long enough to have that kind of thinking in the design, in my opinion. It's kind of funny because I'm not surprised to hear you have that personal opinion of it. You know what I mean? Because with the flower, I mean, you're in a zone where you're reaching something that few vapes can really do. So I see you looking for that extreme punch in the flower that, yeah, I mean, it's not going to do like a torch or a ball vape thing. For me, I don't want that level of density to my vapor, for lack of a better, I'm working on what to call it. But there's a point when we vaporize where if you've got a glass vaporizer like the Herborizer, you can watch shit come out the bottom. There's a point where it gets saturated, it's there, the heat comes in, and you can tell it rises a notch. The shit coming out from below is like another level of thickness. And what I've found is that's when it starts to get harsh, and I'm trying to avoid that. So I've started to take shorter draws and lighter draws, and I really am finding a zone that I enjoy more that's not what I was doing before, which is just crushing that thing. So I would say you're probably, in my opinion, you're probably at the end of the vapor scale that probably the only people I think wouldn't like it for vapor, because most people hit it for vapor. I mean, for dry herb and fucking this shit whoops, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised, but for me, it was made for flower, does flower great, has a dish tacked on top. The dish, the Q-tip gaff, I'll call it, alone tells me that probably wasn't designed by someone who dabs a lot or for dabbing, or you'd at least know, hey, everybody in the world uses Q-tips for these. And then you wouldn't have to go to the extreme of turning it all the way up to clean it. Instead, it's more like, hey, if I put this thing on top, that fits, we can add some dabs, hey, it's in a little band. Okay, the Q-tip doesn't work, we can clean it this way. So everything kind of works anyhow, but it's sort of like that was a secondary feature. I wouldn't expect anybody who dabs off a nail to want this to be what they dab off of instead. I look at the dish on top as kind of like, having a little ice cream with your cake kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Where for me, this thing whoops it on flowers. And then when my tolerance gets there, I can throw a little dab on it too. I agree totally on the temp spectrum. The fact that dabs only really work well in that 2-hour range is another reason why I think obviously it wasn't made for dabs, like you said. So yeah, I think it's more icing on the cake, and it works for me, but I agree. needs to have a carb cap, needs to have a loading tool, because you'll see when I put my dab on here, I'm not gonna drop it in. It's a narrow trench, man. I gotta get something to poke it in there with. So some will add that too. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So minus the dabs. I mean, let's go over the dabs. I'm not gonna dab on it tonight because I've already learned my lessons on the dabs for this thing. For me, it's not a dabbing device, but it's how much is it? It's $280.
It's a pretty penny. It's some money. It's Silver Surfer type money.
Right, it's fucking Silver Surfer type money.
Yep.
How much is a Silver Surfer? I thought I
right about there, ain't it? I mean,
I always forget the fucking Silver Surfer.
The Buddha's like 180. I'm pretty sure the Silver Surfer is around $100 more, like 280. It's right in the same bucket.
Okay.
That's really the nearest competition. Their dab solution, in my opinion, at least any one that I've tried, is worse. I didn't think it dabbed well by itself, and then it wouldn't work on flower at the same time. It was either or, so it was never a both.
Essential oil kit?
Yeah, and they've done another one since that, and by design I haven't tried, but looks the same idea. It's an either or if you do both, the spectrum is completely separate. Like I didn't get any overlap. At least I had some overlap on this one. I'm done with that. I like the looks of it. I like I think the looks are great. I think of all the whip vapes that I have, yeah, this is the best looking whip vape I've got for sure. I mean, you can get heady with a Silver Surfer if that's your style, and that's totally different, and those are fucking bomb. I've got one right there, the Super Silver, that I like, that's all doped up. But I like the looks. I like that the heater's fucking recessed, so I don't burn myself very easily. I have to kind of try. And again, I like the flower hits. The flower hits work for me. But I remember the first time we hit this particular one. This is the one that I had in the hotel room that night when you and Randy were there. And when we hit that one, I had the fucker on way too high for dabs. There wasn't anything telling me what to do. And I just hit it without even ever testing it. And that first dab was like, whoa, what the fuck did I do? I mean, it was like, I think I had it on like 2 or 3 o'clock, and it just was way sizzled. And I was like, man, we got to turn that fucker way back down. Once I found the spot for it, there we go. But yeah, you can't do it on that higher flower range, because that's actually where you probably lived on the flowers. You probably had it all the way up to 3 or 4. I'll go up to 3 to finish a bowl on this thing easily.
I just turned it to 3 trying to find some vapor right now. I'm really underwhelmed right now.
Yours is fucked up though with the balls and the mods.
Probably.
Do you have another one?
No.
Shit, I got a black one here I can hand you.
Show me what you can do with yours.
We got to work out with that hand thing.
Show me what you can do. Show me some fucking vapor.
Oh, did you not see what I was blowing?
Not really. I mean, you said that they're not gonna. I know it's not gonna be a Terp Torch or an SSV43, but right now I can't even get Arizer EQ performance out of it.
Well, mine's doing fine, man. Yeah, let me pack a fresh bowl in a minute. I got about one more hit on this bowl for you. I'm on about 1.5. Yeah, about 1.5, 130. But don't look at this one because I'm just finishing the bowl here. But you know this one hits. You hit it at Champs. That's the same way.
I hit it at Champs, but I mean, the Ditanium has always been a bit of a typical ceramic rod vape. Like if you want to get vapor, you have to like slow inhale and kind of fluff it and milk it, and this is not my thing. Like I like to inhale faster. And before I get any fucking comments, because this is what the ceramic rod proponents often say, you can crank it up. Like the Silver Surfer, you can crank it all the way up if you want to inhale faster, but it's not the same convection as balls. But yeah, it's just not the same vapor. Like the pulling from a single hot rod, which by the way is a fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. Pulling convection from a single hot rod is very, very different than pulling convection from a hot rod surrounded by hot ass balls. Like the air comes out very thoroughly different.
Some more goodies.
Nice, very nice. And your wand is so clean.
Yeah.
I am wearing pants, by the way. Somebody's asking in the chat if I'm wearing pants. This is funny.
That was that terp hit that I like. I like that, man.
So what's your Ditanium set to, and how was the Enail on that?
That was medium to medium fast. I typically, it's on about 130-ish.
Mine's set to 3 o'clock right now. By the way, you see the light in the bottom? I forgot to show it up.
Oh yeah, yours is going at it. You got that set to high, man. I love it. Yeah, that thing gets brighter as you set it. So you got yours jacked up. Yeah, I don't think yours is working right because for whatever reason, whether it ever was or whether it's your balls, but because mine's fine on shit. The one I took before the show, I started on like 12:30 and got a real nice hit off of it. And then I turned it up because it's getting later in the day. But no, this feels great. Let me. This is usually the bigger hit that you're looking for. Oh, I love it. That's hitting, man.
It looks better. I think it's entirely possible that because I put balls into the stem to where the nipple is, and those balls could very well be detracting from the purpose of the other balls. So could very well be that my mod is messing it up. So I'm just gonna go full blast.
Yeah, go for it, man. Because I mean, once I mod or take apart a vape, man, all bets are off. You know, I mean, I suck at putting things together. I broke most vapes that I had to fuck with balls, except the Terp Torch because that was already pre-configured. But anytime I've on my own tried to figure out balls in a vape, I ended up breaking heater covers. So the ones that were built that way, like the fucking Symphony, yeah, the G43, fuck yeah, man. Your thing when you put it together, fuck yeah. Torch, fuck yeah. Anything I make, I'm telling you, man. This signature bakes my ass. I like it. It's got that strong convection signature that I like. Mine reminds me of a Zion, the way it has that signature, that convection thing.
That's a lovely way to put it. I love the vapor signature from the Zion and the Splinter Z. It's a good one. And even the Milana, I like that it's terpy. It doesn't rip your bowl apart on the first hit unless you milk it. And I know I could do that with this. To me, I see the value in it as a $280 vape for somebody who wants to just have one device that can do both. They may not rely on concentrates. They may not vape herb all fucking day, but they just want one device. Cool device for $280. But for me, it's really doing the jack of all trades, and it falls into the master of none category. And for $280, I think I would rather buy a Rio and a Fury Edge. You know, like I think I'd rather have two devices for concentrates and dry herb rather than one of these.
I would, but I wouldn't want an Edge instead of this. I have a completely different experience with the flower. My flower experience with this is stellar, and it beats the fuck out of me every time I hit it. And as long as I pack it down, it doesn't slope down. I hated that horizontal, it would slope, but if I pack it first, because I used to not tamp my bowls. I used to just fill them up and put them in and they'd slope, and now that I'm tamping, it works better. I think as a flower vape, I think it rocks, and I don't think it makes sense to compare it to a ball vape because it's not in that class. I mean, it has no balls.
Right. I'm not, but I mean, comparing it to like the Arizer EQ though, for $100 less, I don't see a huge knock my ass off difference that you see. Like you said something about the Herborizer, and maybe it compares a little bit, but to me it's still just like a not all the way fully developed convection vaporizer.
Huh. No, I think it looks a hell of a lot better than an EQ.
It looks
is it
totally,
worth
totally.
Is it worth $100 more? I mean, I would rather hit this, but when we had our EQ plate day, man, I remember several times looking at that going, I'm not going to disrespect or hate on that. That was a righteous hit off that vape. I mean, that vape was whooping me. And then you put the D-Dave mod on it, and a little bit was whooping me. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to argue with anybody who says that they're in the same class, because that fucking vape does it. Yeah. I will say, for me, though, this thing just, I don't understand it. And I say this every time I talk to somebody about it. For some reason, this thing whoops my ass every time I pick it up. And clearly it doesn't for you. And I've heard for some that it does. I don't hear everybody say that, but like I said, I think it's a signature thing. But so would I get this instead of an EQ? Probably not, just because you can do so much more with the EQ. I don't, this whip is a little too short and stiff, so the EQ whip is a little more playable for me, I guess. And you got the bag option, and you could go glass and fucking remotes and all weird shit. So that's a killer deal there. The Plenty is these days a little less than that. Right? Isn't the Plenty in the low twos?
Plenty is 200, I think, now.
It keeps getting lower
220.
and more, man. Yeah.
200 after coupon or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask, do you preheat your wand? Do you like?
Not on purpose. Sometimes I look after I've hit it and realize I'm a little high and I left it on there, but normally I just go at it. The other things they have for options that you can get with this shit I have here is I got a whip and a titanium bowl.
Hold up. You see that?
Oh, you just did something big off that, didn't you? That looked pretty big.
Yeah. Figured out something.
Would you put it on 4, you said?
No, it's full blast.
Yeah. Maybe your balls kicked in, man.
That was definitely a ball hit.
Well, good, man. Maybe they need a little more time, or I don't know. I don't know the science of the balls yet, man. I'm not the science of the balls. Troy was having blue balls. That's what was going on. He was getting blue balls with his titanium. And then all of a sudden, he found himself.
I took a couple cigar puffs and then I hit it really, really hard. And at a certain degree of hard pull, I actually noticed a little difference in the feel of the air. And I think maybe that's just how it works with the balls. Like, you have to inhale really hard. Whereas like the SSV 43 and the Terp Torch with balls, maybe you don't have to, you still have to inhale hard to make it work the way they're with the balls. But like if you inhale softly, you still kind of get the ball vapor. Maybe with this one you don't. I don't know. But
oh, that's awesome.
I feel like I talked some shit in this vape. Put its hand in my ass. And
that's funny, man. Maybe it said, "Oh yeah."
Let's try it again.
I found my balls. It's fucking great. Is that one doing it too? Looks like you're getting something, unless that just cloud is from your bubbler from past hits. I didn't get a baseline look at it. Yeah, it's looking like a cleanup hit to me. Is that bowl done now? Still got to dial it in, don't you? I don't have any dialing in on the standard model, man. It just huffs for me, man. I don't even put a whole lot in my opinion.
Yeah, but we huff differently. You know, a lot of vapes that you reach for are the vapes that I don't.
Yeah, I like to keep my hits at a comfortable pull based on just how it feels to me. And that ends up being different with every vape. Like every vape likes to be hit differently. Most whip vapes, especially if they're like this ceramic rod vape, and I learned this on the Silver Surfer ages ago. I found it on the Extreme before that. It works on this. You don't put balls in one of these vapes, then you're gonna slide into a comfort zone level with it, where if you go too fast, you'll overwhelm it. You go too slow, you can increase the heat. I get less of that variance with this one than I did with my Extreme, and I think with my Surfer. I think it's a little more stable, but it still has its tolerances. But I don't know where I was going with that, man. I got lost on my own little tolerance thought there. I was talking about fucking whip vapes. How you like that?
No, man, you described it perfectly. I mean, the vape isn't for me, but I'm sure it's right for some people. Not every vape is right for everybody. That's why we make content like this.
I wanted to show off these parts here, man. Tell you what I think of them. This is the titanium wand. It unscrews so that you can remove the screen, and then screws back in. So just so you can fuck with the screen and take it out. And I think it's a titanium screen, but don't quote me on that. But anyhow, it just hooks up like this. You know, you connect it like that, and then the other end goes to the same mouthpiece, which attaches to 14 millimeter glass here. Just kind of goes right into my my cage, my Simrel cage. But then they've got this other solution that I'm not too fond of, where, you know, if you take this wand and you put it on here and you just leave it there, it's gonna heat transfer pretty quickly and get real hot. Mm-hmm. So they figured, hey, let's put this over it. And the idea is you're supposed to feed this through, connect it, pull it back through enough, and then you've got a glass handle on it that'll hold it. But then it's not quite held on real well. If you move it wrong, it comes apart. And if you leave it on here, this still gets hot. I found, fuck it, I just don't leave the thing on there most of the time. So when I use this, I just take a quick hit and pull it right off for sure. But this was good for microdosing for me. I could put a smaller load in there because it's a smaller bowl and it's closer to the heater. That was my opinion of this. I never use it. I prefer old school Silver Surfer type wand. And so I feel right at home with this based on my years of silver surfing. So aside from that, the carb cap will increase the temp probably 15, 20, 25 degrees. I don't know. So that you can do it as a little boost on the flower. Troy, you'd probably prefer to have it on there with your flower. So it would boost it up a little bit. Also for the dabs, it's required in my opinion. If you don't have this for the dabs, don't even bother. And then this little thing up at the top has a reservoir where you can put some essential oils in there and smell the room nice. That's cool. Turn the fucker all the way down. Once again, Troy, like when we did the dabs the first time, I had it turned up in normal zone, like probably 1. Put the oils on there, and I was like, motherfucker.
I remember
all
that.
the way down, all the way down for the oils. So
my precious live resin from California went up and
oh man, and then it left a residue, and I had to let it burn off and all that shit. So yeah, so I dig it for flower. I think it, like I said, it performed well for me when I needed it. If I'm just sitting around vaping flower, I give this one a long hard look. The price is a little up there, but you know, is it made all here in America and shit like that? Is it one of those kind of things? I mean, the guy's here in America in like Arizona or somewhere down there in the Southwest, right? So
yeah, something like that. We met him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He talked about how he paints like all the black ones. Like he does all the fucking work, and the light bulb and all the shit. Like it was a cool product, cool business. I do agree that the carb cap should come with it. Like that to me is a paper mistake somewhere. Like getting the product under a certain price point, you know, had to be a goal, and they sacrificed the carb cap. Even just include a fucking cheaper one if that thing is too expensive.
I could see that.
Carb caps are cheap.
Is this titanium?
Yeah, I'd assume so.
The cap? Okay. So
everything else, it gets hot. Like if you leave it on there,
it does get hot. Yeah, you don't want to touch that when you're doing that oil shit. Turn it off before you come back to it and grab it.
And he marketed it to me as you can put essential oils on top of it. Like if you want to put your peppermint oil in there, you can put it here, and now your house will smell like peppermint while you're vaping weed. But if you do that fucking thing, yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's gotta be turned down for that.
But it's got to be turned up if you want to heat up your oil. So
no, it's got to be turned down to do the oil, or it'll do it too much. Like I had to turn mine all the way down below the flower zone to get the essential oils to do their really low boil and smell the room.
Okay.
Otherwise, they went off too fast and it was a waste of essential oil. You see what I'm saying? Those like even a lower temperature. Those don't need much at all.
Maybe we should just be having our dabs in this thing. Just put it here.
Dude, you might have something, man.
Like
no
hot
shit.
hot knife in it. Just put the dabs there and just have the hot knife bottle. Or have the whip ready. Like
You can put the whip. Oh, wait a minute. Is there? Oh no, is there a hole in this? Does the carb go all the way through? Is that a hole, see-through hole? Yeah. I was saying maybe you could put that on it and have an intake, but then you're gonna get the other. Well, that's funny, man. Yeah, I'm sorry you don't like it. I dig it.
No,
Although I dig it when we don't really agree on shit, because we always have it for legit reasons, and I always say it kind of is the best review for people to see that, you know, you don't have to go out there and argue with people. Nobody has to like your vape. You know, if you like your vape, fucking like your vape. You know what I mean? And not everybody's going to agree. And even with people, you know, Troy and I, we got all the vapes in the world and all the experience, but we still have our own perspectives. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I love that.
I struggle to find the person that would love this. However, I know 3 or 4 people that use theirs daily. So I know they exist. Just because it's not right for me doesn't mean it's not right for anybody. So I do want to present my negative opinions here as very personal, just because this vape isn't the right vape for me. When I'm updating my review, it's going to be very much pros and cons. Like, here's the objective shit. Here's my opinion. Here's where it stands in the market.
Get yourself a standard version that works first. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, that one you got there is no longer an indication of what this thing does or should do.
I'll demod it and fuck with it before I republish my review. But it's still a ceramic rod vape. So it's like the SSV.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be in my recommendations.
Do you not recommend the SSV?
It's not that I don't recommend it. It's not that I don't recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the SSV is a great... I'd probably recommend the SSV over this.
Mm-hmm.
But the SSV is... I feel that in order for the market and for the vape usage to grow and expand and to do its thing, it needs to evolve. And I feel like the experience and the performance of these ceramic rod vaporizers needs to evolve. And I feel like the market is evolving past it, and this style is going to get left behind. I think we've already seen it in SSV interest. I mean, I'm sure 7th Floor sells plenty of them, and I apologize. I'm not trying to talk shit or anything here. I'm just being honest with what I see as a market research person who can go to Google and look up free information and see how many people do Google searches for 7th Floor Silver Surfer. You know, you can see that it was popular and then it was not so popular, and then now it's kind of whatever. You know, I'm just saying the market evolves, and the experience of these vaporizers seems to be in one of those little slivers of the market that nobody gives a shit about anymore.
You mean like desktops?
Not really. Well, desktops correlates with that.
What's the sliver though? I want to hear what that sliver is.
I feel like the sliver is the performance per time sliver.
Per time.
Like per time invested in like commitment to vaping. Like the ease of getting high without commitment. And I feel like that's where a lot of these vapes don't have the appeal to the gen pub, to the general public. A lot of vapes where you have to not only learn the ritual, but you have to learn how to hit it, and then learn what the right temperatures are. There's too many hoops for me to say to a new vaporizer user, go pick up this vape and start vaping weed. There's too many easier vapes where I feel like I could hand them a different vaporizer and they get it on their first try and they get high right away. They get happy right away. They're not dissatisfied. I feel like this vaporizer to a new user would leave more new users dissatisfied and unhappy with vaporizers. So this vaporizer to me is not a good entry-level vape. It's not a good beginner vape. It's not a good representation of a vaporizer to a completely new user. Like, I feel like new people would put their weed in here, be disappointed with it, end up smoking anyway until they get it right. Like, it takes commitment. It takes the right hit still. It's just one of those vapes. You can totally do it. And I try to format my reviews in a way where I can even show, like, here's how to use this vape to get the best shit. But now, as an enthusiast and somebody who vapes weed daily and has a community of people who vape weed with me daily, I feel like for newcomers, no. For people who know how to vape, they know what they want. They know what their devices currently are. They already know specialty vapes. They're willing to build a relationship with their vapes. They like that vast. They like that different vapes serve different flavors and purposes. You know, yeah, it's a great device. But that's where my waffle is.
Yeah, I just disagree. I think it's easier to use in the extreme. All I gotta do is tell somebody turn it at 12:30, give it 10 minutes, pack your bowl to here, don't pack it too tightly, and find your draw speed. And that's usually kind of like a slow to medium, little more than sipping tea. You'll know when you hit it kind of a thing. But there have been other vapes where I felt one way about it and the public didn't. I went and looked on the Planet of the Vape site. We only have 5 reviews that are from the public. I love it when there's like hundreds of them, but I can go, well, this is what the market says. It's just 5 people. We got like 4.5, I think, one 4 and 4 5s, and the 3 that said something they like it. So I think it's good for the mass market. I think it's easier for people to use than the extreme. I think it'll deliver really strong hits for most people. I think that the people who are chasing for dampers and ball vapes are gonna find fault in it for what they need, but I think it's plenty strong enough and plenty attractive enough for those that you know are drawn to it.
I do think it's easier to get a better experience from the Ditanium than the EQ. I will say that, like the EQ, you almost like need the D-Dave, or you need to learn the elbow pack, or you're gonna get just wispy shit until you figure it out. And that takes a while, man. Mm-hmm. And like you and I often take a sesh for granted, or take weed for granted, but like to a lot of people like, fuck, if I buy a vape, it means I can't buy weed for 3 months because that's my weed budget. You know, so one bowl for them is a lot. So like when that's why I'm trying to be like so sensitive to it, because I've had some people lash out at me. You know, like when
about the Ditanium or
no, not about the Ditanium. Just about like my approach. They're like, yo, when I tell people like experiment, like vape a bunch of bowls at this, and I'm like, dude, like I can only afford, you know, an eighth a month or whatever, and I can only vape a bowl once per day because I get so fucking high that whatever. So like so many people are have a different tolerance and different perspective and a different time ability when it comes to that commitment. Yeah.
In my opinion, I agree with you. I think your opinion is valid. I think you're speaking more to an outlier. I think most people would find this satisfying. That's what I think. Whereas you think it sounds like you think most might be disappointed, or enough so that you want to warn them. I guess I don't know.
No, I'm not saying that most would be disappointed, but I feel like we don't know what that most is, and from my approach of handing vaporizers to smokers and trying to break the out of just the vaporizer enthusiast realm and just trying to approach just cannabis users of what expectations are for the hit and all that. So and I'm not trying to draw a line or normalize anything, and I don't think that the learning curves are bad. Lots of fucking awesome vapes have learning curves. I do think that those vapes are valid in the market. I think it's all good shit. I'm not saying that it's all bad because you have to learn it. Like the Sticky Brick and the Dynavap are two of the bomb ass vapes on my must buy list. You know, if you don't have a Dynavap, you don't have a Sticky Brick. Probably not really exploring your vaporizer, or you're probably scared of butane.
Yeah.
But those two vapes are complete learning curves, but they're also like mad character building. Like you build a ritual, you become one with the vape. You learn all these little subtle nuances, and you develop your technique, and you heat it a certain way. And then when you see other people do it a different way, you're like, oh my gosh, look how differently you're holding it compared to how Yeah. It's a total relationship thing versus just learning how to slowly inhale to get the right convection and whatever. So I don't value the relationship of learning a ceramic rod vape versus learning like a Dynavap or a Sticky Brick or a Vap Man.
Yeah, it might not have that appeal, but once you've learned one whip vape, I think you've learned them all. I mean, I apply the same principles to every one of them. Once I figured out how to do the extreme, because that was my first one, Silver Surfer was a piece of cake. I forget what my next whip was after that. I'm going to use many whip vapes after that. I don't use whips that much anymore. Usually just hitting straight out of glass. Shit, I thought I had something to say, but this thing's making me not care whatever I had to say.
I also got out the Cloud Evo Vapexhale, and I should have got it out earlier, but now I'm past the point of talking about it. But I think this is a good option too, for $100 more.
Is it 100? I looked it up and it was 150 or 200 more.
They have I think it's the Calyx edition.
Oh, do they have a Calyx edition? I looked at the starter kit.
So they have I think it was the Calyx edition. It was $370, and it comes with 2 of the borosilicate dab tubes and 2 of the baskets and 1 glass bubbler mouthpiece. So this is not the glass bubbler mouthpiece. This is a sticky tube. This is my prize sticky tube right here that's stuck on there right now.
There's a Helio starter kit that's only $350, but that's going to be harsh. That's going to be a real harsh.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have a bubbler.
It's just got that little nipple on it and going straight through your fucking mouth. No, thank you. For me, that's the winner all day fucking long is the Evo. I love the Evo. I like it for dabs and flower.
Let's not get carried away.
No, you and I, listen, what's great is you and I come at dabs from completely different angles, man, and that one suits me to a T. I like that one. I like that a lot. I'm surprised I don't use it more. It's probably just because there's a whole bunch of glass and I got enough of that shit going on. And I don't dab a ton.
I don't like the dab experience from it, mostly because it seems kind of tedious and also accident prone. Like if you inhale too hard or at the wrong time, it sucks the dab out, and then your dab goes inside your bamboo, and then you get stinky vapor for a while, and you need to clean it, and yeah. But yeah, for the dry herb, the Evo fucking slams. Like, and there's no curve. There's no learnability. There's you pack your weed in the basket, you put your lid on, you put your basket in the hole. It's almost scientific. It feels like it's a crucible thing. And I like that about that. I kind of adore that about that. You put your whip on here and connect it to your bong, or you put your mouthpiece on there. It takes 5 to 8 minutes to heat up, and it turns off every 30 minutes if you're not hitting it, which makes baby Jesus cry.
It's the Achilles heel of that vape from my.
Oh my god. But yeah, I think this is a more modern vaporizer for newer people not willing to or not wanting to have to learn how to use a vape. I feel like this just fucking delivers, and I'm glad this vape is on the market. I wish it were cheaper. At $380 for its cheapest version. It's still pretty pricey, but it's a pretty rugged vape, and I don't hear a lot about problems with them.
That comes with the nails too, though, right? Yeah, two tubes
comes with
and
two
two
of
baskets.
them,
Nice.
but there comes with Boro. Comes with the Boro tubes, not the quartz.
That's all right. That's all I have is Boro. They work great.
Okay.
No, dude, I'm glad to hear you like that, because that vape right there, I really should use more often. I think I just got so into the form factor of the Herborizer, but with the dabs on that, if you use the quartz nail or the Boro nail, whatever, and you do what they say and you stay in bounds, fucking works great. I dig that vape. That vape is dope. Killer flower, killer little dabs for me. Fucking the hydro tubes are killer. Dude, I'm telling you, man, that vape is way the fuck ahead of its time. And I'm glad it's still in the market. And if you don't have one of those, you need to look hard at that. If you consider yourself a vaporist, you need to think about that one real hard, because that's pretty. And that not only that, that's got a pretty solid place in the history of desktops for the last good while, man. That thing.
Yeah.
That's a dope vape, man.
So yeah. So on the Ditanium, I would step up to the Cloud Evo for $100 more if that's your thing.
So anyhow,
tap it in, that's a ringer.
After a respectful disagreement. Knock it out, bro. Here we go. Fuck.
What?
That was big.
Oh.
Oh.
I thought somebody was trying to steal you and take your kidneys. I wasn't watching. I was looking down at my dabs. Oh shit, Jerry, you okay? You mean to call 911?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right.
I'm just saying hi to my desk.
Hello, desk. How are you doing today?